love Chris Brown. I love Chris Brown. Chris Brown, my favorite. I'm gonna be honest. Listen, this might be crazy to say. This might be real crazy to say. I'm not gonna lie to you, okay? But I feel like the industry drags Chris Brown. Wait till I get this full thing out before you start canceling me, okay? Listen, watch yourself. Shut up, okay? Rihanna has a fat ass forehead, okay? You want to cancel me? Go ahead and take that one and run, okay? Now listen, okay? I feel like Rihanna has moved past it. Chris Brown has moved past it, and I feel like everybody, it doesn't matter how talented, what he does, and he can do anything. Everyone will always bring up, oh, you hit Rihanna, like you beat Rihanna's ass, you beat her ass, right? You know what I mean? I feel like it's so long ago, and he just can't redeem himself, and it's kind of because he has been like producing a lot of shit. And to be honest, I mean, he kind of took over when he came out. He was going crazy. I mean, he's still beating people up. He's still beating people up. Damn. I mean, he got a Jordan on his face. What is that? Is that 3s or 4s? I would never trust someone with a Jordan on their face, to be honest. That is a crazy tattoo, but still. Anyways.
When discussing Chris Brown, it's impossible to forget the 2009 incident where he physically assaulted his girlfriend Rihanna.
Damn! Then what I was talking about. Oh my God. Oh God. Damn. You good girl shit. Keep your hands up. Fuck. Damn, Chris Brown. That's why they didn't let it go. Shit. I never seen this picture. He did not hold back. Damn.
No, was and still is one of the most
That's how my daddy beat my mama.
popular stars of the past decade. Some of you from that moment on were never a fan of Chris Brown again. And while it did leave a stain on his reputation, being forever associated with this disgraceful incident basically didn't hurt his career at all. Today, Chris Brown has over 50 million monthly listeners, has more gold records than Elvis, and is still selling out stadiums all over the world. Just last week, he posted on Instagram about how people still hate him for a mistake he made at 17. But Chris Brown has made a mistake almost every year for the past decade. He seemingly isn't a changed man. So why didn't his career end? Today, you will find out exactly why.
Oh, tell me.
Stay hydrated.
I'm drinking.
By early 2009, Chris and Rihanna were considered a music industry hitmaker power couple. Rihanna had 2 #1 hits, SOS and Umbrella, along with a number of hits such as Pon de Replay, Unfaithful,
She's so fine. Look at her. That haircut is not it though.
Don't Stop the Music, Shut Up and Drive, Disturbia, which was actually written by Chris Brown, Take a Bow, and many others. Chris also had 2 #1 songs, his debut Run It and Kiss Kiss, along with other hits like Say Goodbye, Gimme That, Go, Take You Down, With You, and Forever.
Damn, bangers, bro.
To the 51st Annual Grammy Awards,
I feel
they were
old.
both scheduled to perform separately, as well as receiving multiple nominations for various categories. However, these plans ended abruptly when media outlets reported that the couple would not be attending the red carpet, and their performances were canceled shortly afterward. Early that morning, Chris had been arrested following a domestic altercation in a rented Lamborghini that left Rihanna's face bloodied, bruised, and swollen. But to fully understand what occurred that night, we must backtrack when the couple initially began dating. Chris and Rihanna were not your typical teenage romance. They couldn't dine at restaurants or book hotel rooms without paparazzi flooding the parking lot. With so much power, influence, and a lack of privacy at such a young age.
Imagine that, bro. That's so terrible, chat. Man, you can't even go out with your significant other, bro. You can't just eat. That sucks. This is why I say, listen, you don't want fame, bro. You just want money, chat, okay? I don't want to be famous. This shit is terrible.
Things were bound to get ugly. Chris told Rihanna that he wanted to marry her. Before he proposed, he wanted to come clean and admit
you can never pick your nose in public, bitch. Never once. Paparazzi gonna take mad pictures. You're gonna be on TMZ picking your nose. It's gonna be terrible.
He had slept with one of his female assistants. Rihanna was floored. She could no longer trust Chris for hiding this from her for so long, especially since Rihanna asked Chris years ago if he ever slept with this woman.
My trust totally was lost with her. You know what I'm saying? She hated me. After that, I tried everything. Like, we would fight each other. She would hit me, I would hit her. But it never was okay.
There were actually 2 previous domestic abuse-related incidents before the Grammys. The first offense cited occurred in Europe about 3 months before his arrest. Chris and Rihanna were engaged in a verbal dispute when she slapped him, and he responded by shoving her into a wall. The report also states that in January, Brown and Rihanna were vacationing in Barbados and got into an argument while they were riding around in a borrowed Range Rover. No injuries were reported, but Brown got out of the vehicle and smashed the driver and front passenger side windows. But on February 8th, it all reached a tipping point, and it was about to get bad. Chris, who was 18 at the time, and Rihanna, who was 19, arrived at the executive Clive Davis's legendary pre-Grammy bash. The couple were approached by the woman Chris had slept with.
Real quick, chat. If a girl hits you, right? Like you're a dude and a girl hits you, what do you do? What do you do? Do you believe in equal rights? Are you beating that bitch ass, or like hit her, self-defense, leave the situation, hit her back, hit her, you self-defense for real. Equal rights, equal fights. If I'm by myself, I'm not putting hands on her, on God. If I'm in public though and people are recording and she hits me, it's bitch gloves off. I'm fucking that bitch. Ding, ding, ding. It's time to fight, ho. It's time to put your hands up. You chose this. You know what I mean? But if it's by yourself, yo, anyone can spin a story any type of way. You feel me? She could have you at gunpoint with a knife on the end of the fucking Glock, you know what I mean? And you hit her once, it's over for you, dude.
Before his relationship with Rihanna, the woman who sparked trust issues between the two. Chris claimed he didn't know she would be there, but Rihanna was upset nonetheless. She began crying before the ceremony started. However, as the night continued, she gradually got over it. They drank, laughed, and enjoyed their night before leaving the venue. Up until that point, everything was fine, as Rihanna explained. The couple had a blast that night. On the drive home, Rihanna discovered a lengthy text message on Chris's phone from the woman they had encountered earlier that night. Chris claimed he never saw the message, but Rihanna felt like she caught him in a lie and he wouldn't tell the truth. She wouldn't drop the issue and couldn't accept that he could be lying to her. Rihanna felt like Chris's back was against the wall and it caused him to get enraged and become violent. Chris, on the other hand, offered a different story. Off top, she thought I was lying. She starts going off, she throws the phone, I hate you, whatever. She starts hitting me, we're in a new Lamborghini. You know, she's fighting me and I'm like, look, I'm telling you the truth, I swear to God. You know I'm telling you the truth, stop it. So then she hits me a couple more times and I just
It doesn't go from translation to, let's sit down, I'm telling you the truth. It goes to, now I'm finna be mean and be evil.
So then I remember she like tried to kick me. It's like her just being upset.
But then I really hit her. Like I with a closed fist, like I punched her, you know, and it busted her lip.
And when I saw it, I was in shock, like, fuck, why did
and then after you bust her lip, you hit her like 8 more times. He hit her with combos. That's not one punch, bro. That's not one punch. That's motherfucking. So you hit combos on that bitch. She was like her eye, both her eyes, her lip, her top and bottom one. Like that's multiple. I know your hand ain't that big.
You're like that.
So from there, she's just spit in my face, like spit the blood in my face, and I'm like.
And it enraged me even more, like it's a real-on fight in a car. We driving in the street. So then I'm like, yo.
Hey, we tripping. Like, what the f? Like, what are we doing?
Chris says that he didn't start the verbal or physical fight, but he does admit that he retaliated violently, and that was wrong. According to the detective's statement, Rihanna made frantic calls and texts to her staff after Chris allegedly threatened to assault her when they arrived home. The outrage only angered Brown more, and he continued his barrage of punches as the vehicle swerved.
God
All
damn.
Rihanna could think to herself was, when is it going to stop?
All I could think about is, you know what I'm talking about with like Joestar, you know what I'm talking about? The fucking stand just punching. My fault.
Pulled over. Rihanna ripped the keys out of the ignition and pretended to throw them out the window, forcing Chris to exit the vehicle. While searching for the keys, Rihanna yelled, "Help, he's trying to kill me." A neighbor heard Rihanna's screams and immediately dialed 911. Frustrated, Chris walked home while Rihanna remained there until authorities arrived. After their Grammys appearance was canceled, the public soon learned about the truth regarding what occurred earlier that day. Following the news leaking to the media publications, TMZ released a photo of Rihanna where she sustained visible injuries. Someone in the police department leaked the photo. Rihanna described this person as a very nasty woman who thought a check was more important than morals. If Chris's situation wasn't bad before, the visual representation of his actions made it significantly worse. He eventually turned himself into the authorities and was booked under suspicion of making criminal threats. It's important to keep in mind that we didn't truly hear Chris's side of the story until 2017, nearly 10 years later, because he chose to publicly admit his wrongdoings with this apology he uploaded to the internet.
Hi, I'm Chris Brown. Since February, my attorney has advised me not to speak out, even though ever since the incident I wanted to publicly express my deepest regret and accept full responsibility. Although I would do some interviews and answer some questions in the future, I felt
he better than me, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I don't give a fuck what it is, chat. I would never definitely not beating a bitch. But like, if I would never put hands on a lady, but I don't give a fuck what the situation is. I'm tripling down. You can suck my dick. I'm not going on no interview talking about some, I apologize for my actions. I'm on that motherfucker talking about some, I did it, so what? What you gonna do? I beat you too. You next, motherfucker. What you wanna do? My fault.
You heard directly from me that I am sorry.
He carried that same sentiment to court as he pleaded guilty to felony assault. In August of 2009, Chris received 5 years of probation.
Kenji, if that's your sister, you fighting him? I fought my sister before. I put her ass in a headlock. I dropped her ass, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I dropped her ass off. She tried to fight. I was like, what, 14 at the time? And she was talking crazy to me, and I was talking crazy back. She tried to tackle me. I said, make it. She slammed me on a motherfucking, we were in the kitchen, and the washing machine was like on the end of it, right? She slammed me into the washing machine. Make it. I turned around, I said, what? Come here, scoop, boop. What the fuck you talking about? Stop playing with me. Sibling fights are different. Yeah, dude. But I held myself back. I wasn't throwing punches or nothing, but I dropped her ass. You better stop playing with me.
He was ordered to attend 1 year of domestic violence counseling.
Oh, if my sister was Rihanna in this situation, if my sister was Rihanna, she probably wouldn't get her ass beat for real. My sisters can fight. My sisters can fight for real. Yeah, nah, I'm good. But like, what would I do to like Chris Brown? I ain't doing nothing. If they still together, I'm not doing. Chat, I think the stupidest thing. Listen, this is the stupidest thing you could do. Come between someone else's relationship, okay? So let's say there's a crazy altercation, crazy shit, whatever the fuck. Unless they, like that significant other, whoever, like the abused, is taking action and like cutting them out their life and doing the proper steps, I'm not gonna step in and do absolutely nothing. I'm not doing shit. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not doing shit. You know what I mean? Because like he'll fuck around, beat you, right? And then you gonna like, I'll go fuck him up, right? I go to jail, and then you're still fucking with him. And then it's like, what the fuck did I do that for? You understand? You just gotta move smart, bro. And I don't think that's the smartest thing to do.
And undergo 6 months of community service. After the trial, Rihanna broke her silence.
I fell in love with that person. That's embarrassing.
Ooh.
That's embarrassing that that's the type of person that I fell in love with.
What a
so
sentence.
Far in love. So unconditional that I went back.
On average, I think it takes a woman 7 times before she leaves.
8 or 9, actually. And I don't want that to happen.
Then Chris publicly responded.
Is it difficult for you to hear Rihanna say those things?
It is. It's real difficult. It hurts, but it's just something that I have to be responsible for because I'm responsible for my actions.
What a weird
He
time.
did the right thing by admitting his wrongdoings, but he still lost sponsorships, bookings, and radio play. Despite the backlash, he decided to release an album in 2009, Graffiti, which debuted at number 7 on the Billboard Hot 200 and sold 102,000 copies in the first week. This is still his worst performing album, but it's also easily his worst sounding album. At the time, people thought his career was ruined, but actually, this was only a minor setback. Chris was about to dominate for the next decade, and although he claimed he was going to change his actions, that couldn't be further from the truth.
Uh-oh.
I have sought and I'm continuing to seek help to ensure that what occurred in February can never happen again. And as I sit here today, I can tell you that I will do everything in my power to make sure that it never happens again. And I promise that.
Chris was never blackballed from the music industry. Just 1 year after pleading guilty, he was booked to perform a Michael Jackson tribute at the 2010 BET Awards. During the performance, he famously began crying and fell to his knees while singing Jackson's Man in the Mirror.
He's so dramatic. This is mad dramatic, bro.
His breakdown sparked a positive reaction as
I bet they're like, oh my God, he's really changing. A week later, he's just in the news beating a
viewers and celebrities alike praised his ability to be vulnerable while honoring his idol. This performance completely changed the public perception of him. Those tears won over the hearts of his fans and haters. They thought everyone deserves a second chance, especially someone as talented as Chris Brown. Coming off the positive press, Chris released another hit called Deuces. The 3 times platinum single was remixed by some of the biggest names in hip-hop, including Drake, Kanye West, Andre 3000, and Rick Ross. Chris thought the world forgave him, and in February 2011, Rihanna's restraining order against Chris was eased as a judge allowed the two to have contact with each other. But the world didn't forget, which made him very angry.
Have you been able to? How have you been able to?
I've been focusing on his album, you know. I think this album is what, you know, I want people to hear and want people to really get into. So definitely this album is what I want them to talk about and not the kind of stuff that happened 2 years ago.
After this agitated interview, Chris stormed off the Good Morning America set, screaming down the hallway. He allegedly threw a chair at his dressing room window, which caused the glass to shatter on the street below, ripped his shirt off, and taunted one of the producers before ultimately leaving the studio where he was photographed on the street after lashing out. Later that day, he posted a now-deleted tweet that read, "I'm so over people bringing this past shit up, yet we praise Charlie Sheen and other celebs for their bullshit." Chris
What Charlie Sheen do, chat? I don't know who that is.
Chris appeared in an interview days later and apologized for his outburst. Luckily for Chris, he found one woman who was there for him during all the chaos, Karrueche Tran. They had been private about their relationship, but were seen together a lot in early 2011 until the pair ultimately decided to make their relationship officially public.
She's so
Chris
fine.
then dropped his 2011 album, Fame, which stood for Forgiving All My Enemies. The album was a major success, with hit singles like Look at Me Now and Yeah ×3. Chris was able to sell 270,000 copies first week and earned his first #1 album. The next year he dropped Fortune, which would be his second #1 album. Back-to-back #1s proved that Chris Brown's music was good enough to look beyond his demons. It also helped that every major artist in the industry was totally fine with working with him. But he was about to get the biggest cosign that would fundamentally restore his reputation. That would come from Rihanna. Chris appeared on the remix of Rihanna's song Birthday Cake. In return, Rihanna featured on Turn Up the Music. The records were very controversial due to their past. Rihanna said she didn't understand the controversy. She didn't see how people could think it was a bad thing. Rihanna's defense over the music made it clear that she had forgiven Chris, but she took it a step further when she went on Oprah to publicly speak on their relationship.
He made that mistake because he needed help, and like, who's gonna help him?
Aw.
Nobody's
She's so
gonna
fun.
say he needs
I'm tired of Oprah, if I'm being honest.
help. Everybody's gonna say he's a monster without looking at the source. And I was more concerned about him.
That is really powerful. Have you forgiven him?
I have forgiven him.
The person who was undoubtedly the victim in the situation has forgiven the assailant. That was enough for fans to fully embrace Chris again.
You know, man, like I said, man, people make mistakes, and if Rihanna's willing to forgive Chris, then everybody else need to mind their business and forgive Chris too.
It seemed ludicrous for fans to hold this over Chris's head when Rihanna herself felt compassion for him. Chris and Karrueche ended up splitting up during this time. Chris shared his struggles with loving two women at the same time.
You know, when you share history with somebody, then you tend to fall in love with somebody else. It's kind of difficult. You know what I'm saying?
Rihanna and Chris began dating again. He made a mistake and he's paid his dues, Rihanna says. Because of her support and their rekindled relationship, his reputation to the public was fully restored, and for the next 10 years, he would have a wildly successful career despite a long list of criminal charges. In January of 2013, Chris got into a verbal altercation with Frank Ocean over a parking space, calling him a homophobic slur, and then punched him in the face while two of Brown's friends jumped in. Chris was captured in public wearing a hard cast on his right hand days later, with no explanation for his injury. Despite clearly being assaulted, Frank ultimately chose to not press charges. Later on in 2013, Brown was arrested for felony assault in Washington, D.C., where he and his bodyguard, Christopher Hollisey, were involved in a physical altercation with two men outside of the W Hotel. Keep in mind, he was still on probation from the 2009 Rihanna assault. He would plead guilty to this assault in 2014.
Did he go to jail?
1 month later, he was booted from a rehab facility after smashing his mother's car window during a family session. In early 2014, a judge ordered Chris Brown to stay another 2 months in a Malibu rehab, where doctors blamed the R&B singer's violent past on previously undiagnosed PTSD and bipolar disorder. They said he was responding to the treatment well. In May of 2014, Chris Brown was ordered to spend 131 days in Los Angeles County Jail by a superior court judge in California after the singer admitted to violating the terms of his probation, but he was released after 60 days. Then he released his album X, which sold 146,000 copies first week and debuted #2 on the Billboard Hot 100. In January of 2015, his probation was revoked after he left the Los Angeles County area to host a private party that led to 5 people getting shot. Him and Karrueche finally break up for good in 2015 when she found out that Chris impregnated another woman. In May of 2015, a man alleged that Chris hit him after an argument over a basketball game at the Palms Casino Resort, but Chris denied and the alleged victim didn't press charges. He dropped his 2015 album Royalty, selling 184,000 units first week, and debuted #3 on the Billboard Hot 200. In January 2016, Brown was investigated by the police in Los Angeles after a woman alleged that he beat her and stole her cell phone during a party at the Palms Casino Resort. He was not charged. In June of 2016, he's sued by his ex-manager Mike G and claimed that Chris Brown brutally attacked him, punching him 4 times in the face and neck. This matter was settled out of court in 2019. In August 2016, a woman called the police and claimed that Chris threatened her with a gun outside of his home. He repeatedly proclaimed his innocence and was eventually arrested and later released from jail on a $250,000 bail. But he sued the woman for defamation and won. Through incriminating text messages, the woman told her friend, "Don't you know this freak Chris Brown is kicking me out of his house because I called his friend's jewelry fake? Can you come get me? My Uber is messing up. If not, I'm going to set him up and call the cops and say that he tried to shoot me." And
yo, bitches ain't shit. This is what, like, bro, bitches could just lie. They could just say anything and fuck your whole life up. And if those text messages weren't leaked, imagine that was God right there, bro. Holy, oh my God. You wrote out your whole plan. Yeah, she's stupid for writing out the whole plan. She real dumb, but like, holy.
And that will teach him a lesson. I'm going to set his ass up. Him winning this suit is huge, because it started to put into question how many times he could have been falsely accused because of his status. And because of his past, his character continued to be defaced by allegations highlighted by the media, as many of his
felt that on a spiritual level.
Crimes were dropped due to people not pressing charges or lack of evidence. In April of 2017, Tampa police said Brown allegedly sucker punched a 28-year-old club promoter during a paid appearance. The charges were dropped due to insignificant evidence. His ex-crew chief filed a 5-year restraining order against Chris and won. Tran claimed that after the couple broke up, Brown demanded that she return diamond rings and other gifts that she had received during their relationship. When she refused, Brown reportedly texted her, "I'm not being nice to you no more. If I see you out in public again and I'm there, I will make you hate me even more.
Oh, wow.
Don't be anywhere I'm out in public. I'm going to ban you from all events."
Whoa, buddy. Whoa there. Calm down. Calm down, Jamal. This is a pattern for sure.
In another text, he allegedly wrote, "Bitch, I will beat the shit out of you."
Oh, shit. Is he okay? This motherfucker is insane.
"And I promise you I will make your life hell." In February, Tran claimed in a sworn statement that Brown had previously punched me in my stomach twice and pushed me down the stairs.
Damn.
In separate reports, Chris allegedly threatened to kill her. In January 2019, authorities in Paris detained Chris, his bodyguard, and a friend on potential charges of aggravated rape and drug infractions. A woman filed a complaint with the police alleging she was assaulted at his suite at the Mandarin Oriental Hotel. Chris and his associates were released from custody without charge just 2 days later. Paris authorities kept the investigation open, and Chris retaliated by following a defamation lawsuit against the woman. In the summer of 2019, Chris dropped his 9th studio album, Indigo. His criminal past seemingly once again had no effect on his commercial sales, as Indigo debuted at #1 on the US Billboard 200, making it his 3rd #1 album. I stopped in 2019, but every year he seems to have a major allegation or arrest. Ultimately, Chris complaining about being tired of this narrative of him being an abuser or violent man is fully self-inflicted. Every 6 months to a year, there's a new story about him punching someone or being violent.
Bro, stay inside. Damn, bitch. Can he not just stay in the studio and make some music? Play some 2K or something. Shit. Fuck are you doing? Like, motherfuckers just do it to themselves, bro.
Towards someone. So is this narrative really about the Rihanna incident or repeated behavior? And for him to complain seems odd, because his career has never been held up. He's never fallen off, and he's never been blackballed. 3 #1 albums, 114 songs on
Shit, they be blackballing me for real. They be on my balls for real.
The Billboard Hot 100, 11 top 10 hits, and nearly 200 million records sold.
Jeez.
Most people choose to look the other way regarding his legal issues because they love his music so much. Most people are separating the art from the artist when it comes to Chris Brown. Most people don't care about his violent history. So if you're a person who hates cancel culture, you look at Chris Brown as a success story. For everyone else, I guess you're just hoping it doesn't get worse. One thing Chris Brown is right about is people tuning in to see Blueface and Krishan beat the snot out of each other in front of the world, and that's not okay. But you can hear all about that in this video.
Did you see that new YouTube video or new music video, chat? With Lil Mabu and all of them? Not that duo, bro. That's a lovely story right there. Holy. It's literally, no, actually, when you think about it, chat, Blueface and Krishan are literally like the Chris Brown and Rihanna type shit.